Vandalizing gas pipelines is a criminal offense against the Nigerian people. Let us join hands and protect our gas pipelines from the enemies of Nigeria. Report any suspected vandal to the security operatives. Let us stop vandals before they destroy our collective national heritage, so we can have the Nigeria of our dreams, where there will be light at all times. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News.
NTA International News.
Federal government is promoting workable policies in critical sectors to actualize its diversification drive, says Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. Minister describes Ministry of Information and Culture's potent platform to engage Nigerians in diaspora. Security experts meet in Abuja, stress need for cooperation among African countries in the fight against terrorism. I'm delighted to have you join us on the news on NTA International. I am Ifeanyi Okafor. And our first report, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the federal government is promoting workable policies in critical sectors to actualize diversification drive for development. It was at the commencement of the meeting of the National Council on Industry, Trade and Investment in Abeokuta, Ogun State, Southwest Nigeria. Leko Agbonde reports.
The conference with the theme, Diversification of Nigerian Economy from Overdependence on Oil Exports, attracted participants from the trade and investment sector across the country. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo says attractive monetary policies that will promote exports and exchange, focus on global competitiveness for economic development and infrastructural development drive are part of government policies to achieve sustainable growth.
We are working very closely with the central bank to try and improve liquidity in that whole value chain, just so that we're able to ensure that it remains a viable business and more investments, private investments can come into the sector. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo, on his part, says Nigeria must produce more and trade more in order to wriggle out of the present economic recession.
We must use what we produce. We must eat what we produce. And that is part of what will help us to get out of recession, to move us forward in our development, and to, in fact, get us on the path of accelerated growth.
Ogun State Governor Ibikunle Amosun suggested special focus on e-commerce and industry with creation of enabling environment for industries. They are corroborated by the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Okechukwu Enalama.
Yes, as we focus on these sectors through the introduction of various public policies targeted at social economic empowerment, employment generation, social safety net and poverty alleviation.
The meeting is a 4-day event expected to come to a close on Thursday in Abeokuta. Leko Agbonde, NTA News.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture is a potent platform to engage Nigerians in the diaspora. The minister was speaking with a senior special assistant to the President on Foreign Affairs and Diaspora, Abike Dabiri-Erewa. Anthony Forsen now reports.
And Culture Minister told the Senior Special Assistant to the President that the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture has the capacity to reach out to the millions of Nigerians in diaspora, saying the mandate of the ministry situates it appropriately to collaborate with the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Foreign Affairs and Diaspora to promote the present government's desire to engage Nigerians at all levels to contribute to the Rebuilding Nigeria project.
We cannot continue to talk about recession when we have so many Nigerians abroad and so many of them are doing so well. This government will continue to encourage them and will continue to rely on them, not just to continue to wave our flags and continue to be ambassadors, but that they are very, very major stakeholders in this project called Nigeria.
On her part, the Senior Special Assistant to the President said it is heartwarming that Nigerians, wherever they are around the world, stand out in whatever endeavor they embark on. And to this end, she said her office is working to come up with a federal government policy on diaspora.
Nigerians in the diaspora have expressed their support for the Change Begins With Me campaign. And they said they also want you to engage with them and take the Change Begins With Me campaign to them everywhere they are in the world.
She said, in the present economic situation, Nigerians in diaspora, if engaged, can bail Nigeria out of its recession. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
To legislative matters, with the increased frustration and alleged sense of marginalization experienced by prospective applicants into the Federal Civil Service, the chairman of the Federal Civil Service Commission, Joan Ayo, has appeared before the House Committee on Public Service Matters. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adegunloye reports that this followed a motion moved on the floor of the House for an urgent probe into the matter.
And you can't get access. So I was wondering, how can a nation want to do recruitment and it is shrouded in secrecy and deceit?
Fielding questions from members of the House Committee on Public Service Matters, the chairman of the Federal Civil Service Commission detailed her explanations on accessing the online portal, illegal recruitment and discrimination based on degree classification.
We set up the website as a means of curbing corruption. Anytime we use form, it generates a lot of corruption. It generates a security breach, because so many people will converge on the office right from the gates because of the volume of people coming. Even the gatemen too, we want to pass only those people maybe who grease their palm.
The chairman of the committee, however, ruled on the latter, saying all graduates must be given equal opportunity for recruitment, as competencies should not be based solely on certificates.
The Constitution does not provide that. Let them be on the competence of the interviews and they can, try to segregate between the class degree. But in a situation whereby they can advert and say that only first class should apply for some position, we felt it's not fair to Nigerians.
Compliance with the federal character law is also emphasized, while the deadline for the online application is extended to mid-November. From the National Assembly, Dennis Adegunloye, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has advocated national, state and non-state actions to perfect Nigeria's action plan to end violence against children by 2030 in the country. This was at the launch of End of Violence Against Children by 2030, Nigeria's SDGs campaign in Abuja. And Jibuno was there for NTA News.
Statistics from a national survey on ages 13 to 24 in Nigeria show that 1 in every 4 girls and 1 in every 10 boys have experienced sexual violence in the country. This data is part of a 2015 to 2016 survey on violence against children. This launch of the End Violence Against Children by 2030 campaign puts Nigeria in the lead as the first country in Africa to conduct such a survey and the 8th in the world among pathfinding nations. President Muhammadu Buhari, who was represented at the launch, emphasized the need to sustain the initiative.
I call on each and every Nigerian to join hands to lift the veil of silence that supports children, to speak out about what is happening to them and to protect them from violence.
The capacity of social welfare workers have been built by the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs to assist victims in the country.
The purpose of the campaign launched by Mr. President in September 2015 was to place violence against children centrally on the political agenda of this administration, commitment and momentum for action, as well as awareness on the silent sufferings of children in Nigeria.
The Presidential Year of Action to End Violence Against Children has led to the adoption of the program by 4 states, domestication of the Child Rights Act by 23 states, commencement of child protection systems in 8 states, and introduction of key policy actions by ministries, departments and agencies in Nigeria.
Every 5 minutes, a child somewhere dies as a result of violence.
The Children's Parliament is calling for complete eradication of violence against children in Nigeria.
The United Nations Children's Fund, the National Population Commission, and the U.S. Embassy are key partners in the project. Attention was also drawn to the fact that Nigeria cannot achieve the SDGs targets if violence against children is not addressed. In Abuja, Anne Jibuno, NTA News.
As Nigerians continue to react on the arrest of some judicial officers for alleged corrupt practices, the Forum of Non-Governmental Organizations want discerning minds to be guided by constitutional provisions establishing the Department of State Services and immunity for public officers. This is the view of the group in their campaign tagged War Against Corruption on Untouchables. Joseph Orok reports.
According to the forum, the Department of State Services acted constitutionally in line with Section 2, Sub 3C of Presidential Proclamation Instruments of 1999 and that of Section 148 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, which provides for a search warrant to be effected anytime, any day. The forum believes those against the search and arrest of the judicial officers should be more concerned about the substantive issue of corruption rather than attempting to divert attention to the procedure of the arrest.
By Section 2, Subsection 3 of the National Security Agencies Act 1, 1986, Cap 278, LFN 990, the State Security Service is charged with responsibility for A. Prevention and detention within Nigeria of any crime underlined against the internal security of Nigeria. Is judicial crime not a crime? Thereby calling on the serving judges and justices among those who are arrested by the DSS to immediately step down, since the conniving agency is not willing to suspend them.
The forum therefore urged people-oriented individuals and organizations to rise up and be front runners of the fight against corruption within the judiciary.
War against corruption.
No untouchable.
In Abuja, Joseph Orok, NTA News.
And staying with security matters, the need for cooperation among African states in the fight against terrorism was on the front burner as security experts meet in Abuja for the 2016 Nigeria Security Exhibition and Conference. Defense correspondent Isaac Nkuma reports that the theme for this year is Defense and Homeland Security Africa.
With insurgency and acts of terrorism threatening global peace, the Nigerian Security Exhibition and Conference serves as a common front for African defense forces to share ideas and propose solutions to the security challenges faced by the continent. Chief of Defense Staff General Gabriel Olonishakin, who was represented by Air Commodore Lalikon Lawal while enumerating Nigeria's contribution to global peace since 1960, emphasized the importance of checking illegal weapon transfer, small arms and light weapon proliferation, just as the Director General NTA, Malam Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, represented by the Executive Director News, Shola Atere, spoke on the role of the media in ensuring national security.
In the course of this presentation, I intend to provide highlights of what we have done in the past, what we will do in future, some issues we are contending with, and solutions we believe would address these issues.
We pursue commercial interest quite all right, or competition, but we cannot allow that to becloud our responsibility towards national security. Because when you protect or sustain or you contribute to national security, indirectly, you are sustaining the national interest of your country.
Others spoke on the need for intelligence gathering, cooperation and coordination between African countries to see to the defeat of all forms of terrorism and insurgency, noting that if assistance is not given to any nation in conflict, the neighboring countries will as well inherit the consequences.
No country in Africa can afford to be importing all it needs for its security. No. You just have to look inwards and do something for yourself. If you can't do something directly with yourself, you cooperate with people close by who can help you.
NISEC is creating the biggest platform for African defense forces to come together, find a common solution to our common problem, because none of these nations lives in isolation.
This is the third in the series of the conference described as a one-stop shop for Made in Africa security equipment. In Abuja, Isaac Nkuma, NTA News.
Turning to agriculture, a grassroots agricultural support program has been launched in Nigeria to promote the agricultural initiative of the federal government towards socio-economic development of the country. The program, introduced by a group known as Rescue and Counseling Ministry International, is expected to create 3 million jobs through farming activities and poverty alleviation in the rural communities. Musa Babaliu has details.
The Grassroots Agricultural Support Program is also to complement the federal government's initiative towards addressing the challenges affecting the development of agriculture in rural communities. This, the initiators say, will be achieved through technical support, financial assistance and capacity building of about 3,600 extension service workers.
Our initiative, the Grassroots Agricultural Support Program called GRAS, was designed to give a new focus on the various challenges of agricultural production in Nigeria.
The federal government welcomed the initiative, pledging to work with the organization in addressing poverty at the rural areas.
We needed to instill in all the stakeholders the concept of agriculture as a business where sound policies, programs, and innovation could spur growth, jobs, and income.
Rescue and Counseling Ministry International is a faith-based non-governmental organization that is supporting government drive in health, agriculture, and education. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria. Stay tuned for more stories after the break.
Call of change, stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. Change begins with you. Oh yeah, make we go. So let the change begin from within. Look at you, Ogeruola. Change begins with you and me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me.
Great to have you back on the news on NTA International. And turning to health now, relevant stakeholders in the campaign to end polio in Nigeria have been urged to remain committed to the cause until the country is certified polio-free by the World Health Organization. This appeal was made at a symposium organized by Rotary International District 9125 Nigeria to commemorate this year's World Polio Day in Abuja. Chukwunonso Nwabweze reports.
The continued efforts of government at all levels in Nigeria and other key partners over the years to protect children within the country and across the world from polio have been remarkable. The recent setbacks in Borno State due to the emergence of 4 new cases of the virus underscores the need for everyone within the globe to intensify efforts towards eradicating the scourge. This symposium on polio eradication initiative in the FCT and how volunteers can add value to local immunization initiative is therefore an avenue for Rotarians to re-strategize towards improving the advocacy to kick polio out of Nigeria.
Polio campaign is a booster dose we're giving them. Because they didn't attend to this, we have to follow them to church, we have to follow them to market, we have to follow them to the Islamic school. Anywhere they are, we must follow you anywhere you are, we must send all their children from 0 to 9 months. Having clear polio in 99.something% in the face of the heart, I and you, we have the belief that it is a doable project.
But what are the measures already in place to contain the recent outbreak of the virus in the country?
We must maintain routine immunization. Even when we do not see any new case anymore, we cannot stop.
Because our working our partners and the Rotarians from back country, we're doing rapid response immunization, we're doing the monitoring.
It is believed that with a strong political will and collaboration, Nigeria will be certified polio-free in the next 3 years. Chukunonsonwa Boeze, NTA News.
And turning to education, organizer of the annual NTA Educational Television Expo has urged the federal government to take advantage of the crop of young inventors for the quick actualization of its diversification policy. Adebola Brooks Lane Sunday was at the day 2 of the event in Abuja.
Every child is believed to have a dream and the ability to pursue such dream. And the Nigerian Television Authority for the past 10 years has been organizing this expo to assist the Nigerian child make his dream a reality. The activated carbon condenser supplying the water.
Hicho Joshua and Oya Joseph co-designed and constructed this prototype cellular irrigation system.
A farmer can use his phone to on and off the supply of water in the farm. When the water has entered the farm and has reached the required level for the crops, automatically the sensor will also turn off the water.
Oladele Ololade is of the junior category. She designed a soilless farming mechanism.
And I want the government to adopt this type of season so that we can get enough vegetable, enough food to eat.
Government emphasis at the moment is agric. Government is shifting to that direction. So NTA felt we should key into it to draw awareness and drive the Nigerians towards that direction.
Increase in local content and import substitution and diversification of the economy. It cannot come through any other means but by the application of science and technology and innovation.
The theme of this year's expo is improved technology and impetus for mechanized agriculture, renewable energy and economic development of the nation. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
The Ministry of Mines and Steel Development is committed to collaborating with well-meaning investors to give new life to the mining industry in Nigeria, to raise GDP and ultimately diversify the economy. This came to the fore at the opening of the first mining week in Nigeria. Ideago reports.
The Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, who made a brief appearance at the event and yielded place to the Minister of State, said the ministry is working tirelessly to reposition the industry to create a conducive environment to enable it to operate at par with its peers in other countries. He said the present administration has already indicated its willingness by approving 30 billion naira as support fund for revitalizing the sector.
We will encourage them, we will organize them, and also encourage the junior miners, those who are into some level of organized mining, but not big-time players. And the other area is to ensure that mining is done to the best practices. We've witnessed a situation in Zamfara and Niger where lead poisoning have led to the death of a lot of people as a result of the activities. We are trying to encourage safer mining practices.
Organizers of the Mining Week said the event is one of the several interventions aimed at giving the sector renewed impetus.
That government should work with the established stakeholders that have been trying for a long time to rejuvenate the mining sector.
Nigeria has over 50 likeable deposits. In Abuja, Ede Agu, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps has acknowledged the World Bank support on the Safe Corridor project, describing it as a driving force in the Corps' road management across the country. Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi said this at a meeting with the World Bank team in Abuja. Gufan Shaji has details.
The Safe Corridor project, a federal road safety development program under the Federal Ministry of Works, Power and Housing, is a World Bank project that focuses on rehabilitation and safety enhancement. The project has since its commencement provided support to the FRSC to fulfill its mandate. FRSC Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi, during a meeting with the World Bank team, said the support in safety engineering, enforcement, implementation of emergency medical services, monitoring and evaluation, as well as technical assistance and training, have contributed to the success of the Safe Corridor project. Boboye Oyeyemi appeals for sustenance of the project, adding that the Buhari administration has done a lot in providing the logistics for the Corps.
I believe we still need a lot of support when it comes to training of paramedics, because these are the officers, these are the personnel that really handle crash victims. And also, the funding, drugs, is a critical thing for the ambulances, administration of first aid to the victims, to be able to sustain this. These are low-hanging fruits that can also be looked into.
World Bank new task team leader Taifa Michael Mitiku reveals that they have been impressed with the FRSC operations since going into the partnership.
From SSTP side, they would like, of course, to continue to use Good Corp as a model for other African countries.
He expressed the willingness of the World Bank to continue the Global Fund for road safety projects.
NNPC refutes report on fuel price hike. For details of this and more, here is Chukunonso Nwabweze.
Thanks for being there. We start on a cheering note from the country's oil sector. The Group General Manager Public Affairs of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Garbadin Mohammed, says there is no plan to increase the pump price of petrol. He was reacting to a media publication which quotes the NNPC as saying that the 145 naira fuel price is no longer sustainable.
There is absolutely no plan to increase price. So we have more than sufficient supply, we have enough in stock. And most importantly, the factors that will probably lead to a reconsideration of this price usually have to do with scarcity in the international oil market or the rise in the price of crude. NNPC, as far as it's concerned, has a long-term procurement contract with suppliers. So sudden rise or fall or whatever of the price of crude is not going to affect that contract.
He enjoined Nigerians not to engage in panic buying, as there are no cause for alarm in respect of pump price increase or shortage of products. Moving on now, trading on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange closed Tuesday on a negative note as the all share index depreciated by minus 1.73%. That's our package on business segment. I'm Chukunonso Nwabweze.
And on sports, Nigerian Air Force officers begin quest for sporting honors in Katsina as International Association of Athletics Federation clear President Sebastian Coe of wrongdoing. Ayodeji Makinde has details.
The 8th edition of the week-long Nigerian Air Force Games began Monday at the Muhammadu Diko Stadium, Katsina State, with athletes from the 5 Air Force commands competing for honors in 15 sports. Correspondent Lekon Kilajulu reports that President Muhammadu Buhari, represented by Defense Minister Mansour Dan Ali, charged the athletes on mental and physical alertness in a bid to further enhance their call to protect Nigeria's territorial integrity. Relief came the way of President International Association of Athletics Federation Sebastian Coe as the Ethics Board say it found no evidence of bribery attempts in a bid by Qatar to secure hosting rights for the 2017 World Championships. This is in contrast with the early submission by the chairman UK Athletics Ed Warner, who alleged that IAAF Council members